Good morning, everybody. I want to get started this morning by, I think one of the most important parts of the convention is the people that help sponsor it. And this year, we're indebted to several sponsors, and we want to take the time to recognize them first thing here this morning in their contributions to the American Jersey Cattle Association. We'll start at the top. A heritage sponsor is, and I'd like for anybody that is here to represent any of these companies to come up, and we have a plaque for you to present. And then if you would stay up here, we'd like to get a group picture when we get done here. So a heritage sponsor this year was Allflex Merck. I don't know if anybody's here from All. You can come up. And the Gateway Arch sponsors, somebody from Transnova. Anybody here from Transnova? Next would be Rector Jersey Farm. Benny? The last of the Gateway Arches would be Neogen. Anybody here from Neogen? We can move on then to the Ozark sponsors, the Illinois Jersey Cattle Club in honor of Ray Schooley and Margaret Schooley. Next would be Select Sires. Anybody from Select, Kirby, or? Okay. All right. Next would be, okay. Next would be from DFA. Surely somebody smelled scouts for DFA. They put it at the corporate office. Next would be from Zoetis. Anybody from Zoetis? No? The next one would be golf balls. Anybody from there? They've had a display here all week. No? Moving on to the Mark Twain sponsors would be Cemex Bogatech. Jonathan Marion. Riverbend Jerseys. Next would be from DMI. All right. Piedmont Jerseys. Next sponsor would be from Midwest Dairy. Albright Jerseys. younger generation. Next would be from Missouri Farm Bureau. Next would be the last of the Mark Twain sponsors would be Dr. Catherine Knowlton. Not present. Moving on to the Mighty Missouri sponsors, Prairie Farms. Next would be from the St. Louis District Dairy Council. Nobody? And the last would be from Jersey Land Sires. I know we have a representative there. Again, we thank all these sponsors for their contribution to the association. Without your sponsorship, we certainly would not be successful at hosting these conventions every year. And we certainly appreciate your helping us out with the different functions. I think we've had an outstanding convention this week, and a lot of diversity that we've had, and meals and everything has been excellent, and we thank you for your sponsorship. So, thank you.
We're going to pause for just a second because the first item on the agenda will probably be a little rude. Walter, you got any jokes you want to share?
Yeah, careful there.
Okay, I guess we'll call this meeting to order. First order of business is to stand and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I guess I'd like to start by introduction of the proxy committee. If they would please stand as I call their name. Ralph Frericks, Chairman. Ethan Haywood, Joe Vanderbilt. Alternates would be Kevin Lutz and Elaine Noble. I'd like to introduce my inspectors of election. Once again, I'm not sure how many years we've been doing this, but as I told them at breakfast, distinguished service is never over. Please stand. Walter Owens, Chair of the Inspectors of Election. Dwight Joyce. Jonathan and Becca Marion. Thank you. Okay, report on the quorum. Article 4, Section 5 of the Constitution provides that for the purpose of an election or transacting other business, a quorum shall consist of that number of eligible members present in person or by proxy or ballot, as the case may be, equal to 1/8 of the total number of eligible members, but in no event shall a quorum consist of less than 100 votes. Eligible members are defined as those who have registered or had transferred to their ownership cattle during the 24 months prior to May 1st, 2026. On May 1st, 2026, the active membership of the American Jersey Cattle Association was 1,580 eligible members. 1/8 of 1,580 would be 198. Therefore, officers and directors can be elected and business transacted with 198 members present in person or by ballot or proxy. Walter, if you please report.
Yes, there were 218 AJCA eligible members that are voted by ballot or proxy or both. Therefore, at least 198 AJCA eligible members are present in person, by proxy or ballot, and a quorum is present.
Therefore, I can declare that a quorum is present and business can be conducted. First, I would like to ask for approval of the minutes of the 157th annual meeting held at the Embassy Suites Coldstream, Lexington, Kentucky on June 28, 2025. The minutes of this meeting can be read, or at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Maxwell moves.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Okay. Next up, I would like to introduce the current board of directors. Please stand, remain standing as I call your name. Tyler Boyd from California. Ted Dement from Illinois. Rebecca Ferry from New York. Ralph Ferris from Texas. Gary Henson from Oregon. Gary had to go home early. Got a lot going on. Lacey was a little overwhelmed, so we got to leave. Ethan Haywood from Michigan. Jason Johnson from New Hampshire. Cornell Capstan from California. Kevin Lutz, North Carolina. John Maxwell, Iowa. Elaine Noble, Pennsylvania. Joe Rocha, Oregon. Joe Vanderbilt, Pennsylvania. For those that are counting, that's 13, because if you recall, we changed the districting and we cannot unseat a standing director. So we're still working through getting back to our 12 directors. Thank you. Oh, and Neil at this time for special instructions.
Okay, good morning. A little hoarse from last night's sale. So, first thing I want to comment on is, thank you all for a really good national member sale last evening. It produced real outstanding results and great fundraiser for the youth programs. I'd like to ask all former directors of the AJCA to please stand. So we have several. See if I can get all these names right. So, starting on this side, Charles Steer from Tennessee, Joel Albright, Cal Graver, in back is Donna Phillips, Benny Rector, and Wilfred Owens. Coming over the other side, way in the back, is Jim Hubbard, Eddie Kirkdorfer from right here in Missouri, Bradley Taylor, Corey Lutz, Dr. Joe Lineweaver from Virginia, I started to say North Carolina, and Jonathan Merrill from California, and Mr. Walter Owens from Wisconsin. Thank you all for continuing the support of this U.S. Jersey organization. I'd also like to introduce, or at least recognize, some industry folks who are with us. Now you're going to hear from this young lady a little later on the program, but I'd like to ask Katie Schmidt with CDCB to stand to be recognized. That's Council on Dairy Cattle Breeding. And Colleen Anderson, I think, is here somewhere. There she is back there. with the awards there, but thank you for covering our meetings and being with us today. And this week, Colleen's been here several days. Also, I'd like to ask, and I realize several were here and some have gone home, but we have great support from our AI industry partners, and I'd like for anyone in the room that's working for an AI company, please stand. There's still several. I see Brad and Wayne way in the back. They were already standing, Wayne Woods. And so I just want to say these folks were tremendously supportive last night in that effort. There was a lot of bids coming from 2 tables. And so thank you for that as well. And thank you for your hard work to develop and market outstanding Jersey genetics for our breeders. I'd like to ask all the staff in the room to come to the front, please. Don't make that face, Lori. So since I don't see him in the room, I'm going to single out the one that's not present this year.
Greedy hour. I'm here. Named Jay. I'm here. I don't see you up here.
I hurt my back last night at Top Golf. Okay, just sit here.
At Top Golf.
I mean, I can come up there. We're taking pictures.
You're hurting, don't. I couldn't find you, so I apologize. Yeah, that's what you get for messing around over there at the golf.
Right.
Okay, so we'll start over on the far side. I've just introduced Benny. Kind of unique situation. Benny's the former director of the association, and then after he retired from his real job, he come back to work for us part-time, and is doing outstanding work in the field. And we really appreciate the job Benny's doing. Very loyal, dedicated Jersey person. And I should say Janice too, but she's not actually an employee.
She's my quasi-secretary.
So then we have John Metzger, who we were lucky enough to convince to come to work for us. He is also part-time as a consultant, but he does a lot of outstanding work for us in the genetics and research side of things, and we really appreciate him. So Vicki, I'm going to talk about a little more later in my presentation, but she's been working for y'all 46 years and doing a lot of things. And so then so next to her is Philip Cleary. And Philip probably don't get a lot of recognition out in public because he's always got his face in a computer. And Philip is the manager of our IT department, which for this organization is not very big, but I'm really proud of the work they've been doing, and they've made a lot of progress since Philip, with a lot of those things that we just thought, man, this shouldn't be happening. Why does this keep popping up? I'll say it right in front of him. Since Philip's been on board, it's moved out quite a bit. So really appreciate his leadership and work in that department. So then we have Kim Billman, who's also been here forever, and all of her adult life, actually.
Yeah.
And Kim is Director of Communications, and she and her department produced almost all the material that you see out about the Jersey breed. And they just recently started a thing called the Jersey Wire, which is it's every 2 weeks, I think, or
Twice a month.
it'll be twice a month. And I appreciate the feedback we've gotten so far on that. If you haven't opened it, you'll find a lot of good information in it. That's the way I put it. So right next to her is Kate Portress, and she's working. She's been, did I say your name right?
Yeah, yeah. You can call her
I'm
R.
always afraid I'm gonna mispronounce somebody's name.
You said R. Kate Porter, and I like that.
Well, that's a little subtle message. So Kate's really talented, a lot of talent right there, and great person, and we're really proud to have her. She's only part-time right now, but there's always a future. So then next is Greg Lavin, and Greg has worn a lot of hats for Jersey in the last several years, and he's actually wearing a new one now, and he's working in herd services, and he's the person we have. Somebody's got to bird dog these corrections. You know, when we have genomic tests and something's not right, you know, the parentage, and you know, CDCB plays a big role there for us. But in our system, somebody's got to contact you, work it out, figure out what happened here, and that's the best way I know to describe. That's the main primary role Greg has played. He also helps with a lot of everything, just about everything else. So then Lori King is manager of herd services. And how long have you been with us? 27 years. She's been working in that department, and since Eric retired, she's manager of that department, or director. And so Lori and her team enter all the data that is not automatically entered by the breeder. And then right next to her is Kristen Paul. I like to say Kristen Bartlett Paul, because I relate to her as this big Jersey pedigree, you know. She didn't have a choice in that. And of course, I'm going to talk a little bit later on about Kristen some more. We'll expand on that. Y'all all are aware, but we're going to talk a little bit about that later. So now, Blake Fox is, no, she was Blake Granville, but she prefers to be her maiden name Fox now. So Blake came to work for us over 3 years ago now. Well, all right, it's over 3. So I no pun intended here, but she reminds me of a short version of Paula. All y'all remember Paula, who was in the same role. And Blake has this big voice. I don't know if y'all noticed that, but when we put her in charge of, yeah, hey, can you get these folks in here, boy? It's like Merlin Woodruff going out there belching it out. Everybody can hear. So Blake's doing a great job supporting the executive secretary, CEO role, and seems pretty anxious to take on other roles as well. And now we got a lot of folks out in the field that are not here, and we have a lot of folks back in the office, several people who are not necessarily traveling roles. These folks and those are the ones working hard for you, and this organization is in the, you know, we're in the animal identification business, and we provide services to complement that official identification, but it's about people. These people make it happen. And all those directors that were just introduced by President Chittick, they help make it happen. And we're all working for the same common goal, and that's a more productive, profitable Jersey cow. Longer lived also. So thank you. Please show these folks your
Yes, this is my fourth year getting up here and having this fun job. Enjoyed it. Many of you know my personality. I'm not the outspoken one, but I take great pride in leading a group of directors. I think we got a strong group, and I do my best to direct them and put them on committees where they're going to do the most good. And that's my way of leadership. For my address this morning, I'm just going to touch on some of the highlights of the year. Starting off in the area of finance, well, I should say that you all those reports there on with that cow, and it's kind of the way the Jersey is ready for what's coming next. That's kind of the way our board is working too. We're just trying to be ready for what's coming next. In the dairy industry, we all know in the purebred industry, it's kind of shrinking. It's a challenge. Some of the things that are going on, and not just for Jersey, but for all the breeds. All the purebred organizations and information organizations and everything, we got challenges ahead of us. So we're just trying to be ready for what's next. Year in review, finance turned out to be much stronger than we thought. When we were doing budgets, we always get nervous, like, oh, how are we going to make this work? But once again, we had a strong year. We were positive, everything in the black. Investments were strong, All-American was strong, the Mint is strong, and I can say that also from 5 months of 2026, we're still in the black, so that's a good feeling. Performance, a slight decline, not the radical change we saw in the last couple of years, but registration seems to have leveled off, and program enrollment seems to have leveled off, and I can say that in looking through our board folders just the other day, I think was the first time in my time as president, I can say that we actually went up in enrollment in the first half of this year. We put some large herds back on instead of seeing some go off. So that's a positive sign. Another change you may have noticed strong in the previous years in our communications department. Kim and her group, we've been on it for a while to get that website up and going. How many people checked out that website? Much better, right? So yeah, we're making progress on that, and quite proud of that. The Jersey Wire, Neil mentioned that a few minutes ago. The digital Jersey Journal, of course, that's been a debate with many people, the Jersey Journal and the digital, and now the Wire. But to throw some numbers at you briefly, the last Wire that went out went over 10,000 emails, and 44% of them were open. So that's over 5,000 people that got contacted with that Wire. In comparison, Digital Jersey Journal is reaching 500. So for those advertisers out there, 10 times more people we're going to get in contact with, and that should grow. So that's looking up. Some concerns that the board has, and myself and the industry. There's been a lot of noise lately that some of our competitors have made some pretty good gains. Some of the commercial producers are penciling out and saying, I don't know if the Jersey is really the cow anymore. We still have the cow. Part of the problem is this great value of the beef calves and the slaughter values. So I guess in a glass half full perspective, in order for them to capitalize on those advantages, they got to slaughter their cow and they got to breed the beef. So maybe we as Jersey breeders need to be making more Jersey heifers so that we can meet the needs of the declining heifer inventory in this country. And it's also nice now that the price for those heifers continues to be at an all-time high, so we can make money that way too. Not only that, but I would push our registrations back and help keep our profitability there. We must also, one of the problems that we're facing is all this butter fat that's out there right now, thanks to our competitors as well. Keep that emphasis on protein. John Metzger's been hounding us, and keep that emphasis on increasing production, increasing protein, because that's where, Stan told us the other day, protein's where it's at. So the board is focused on that and keeping that in mind. As well, if our competitors are trying to make their cow closer to what we are, we need to reemphasize our advantages as yours, efficiency. Maybe we need more research, more data that's out there, real data, for advantages of efficiency as far as feed consumption, how much manure they're producing, methane, carbon footprint, all that. So the board has had discussion about, okay, what can we do there? So enough of what we got going on. The biggest topic we've had in this last year, as you all know, it was a year ago, that over 80 years of experience told us they were going to get it done. So that was a big task. So we had the executive committee, and we talked with a lot of people, and kind of checked to see what might be coming our direction. And thankfully, we found a top quality candidate from within. We all knew she was there. And, just took a little convincing that she was the one for the position, and it was a great relief when she said, "Yeah, I'll take it," because that's going to really help with the transition that we're going to go through and the expertise we're going to lose. So with that said, obviously the first thing Kristen told us was she's not moving to Ohio. So the current project of our leadership group is to figure out how we restructure things in the office and figure out how all that's going to work. And I'm quite happy to say that we've got 8 years of experience and Kristen's knowledge to work on how that's going to look. So there'll be changes coming there for everybody, for the membership. When you call in, things might be different, but we're working on it, and we've got a few more months to figure that out. And as true to my personality, I said, you know what, they're a lot more qualified to figure it out than I am, so I'm going to step back. And if you want assistance, ask for it. I'll be glad to help. But they're handling what's coming next. So with that, that's all I've got. So Neil, if you'd like. Kristen, you're going to go first. Chris, we've already started the business responsibilities up here. We told Kristen she didn't need to sit between us today, because that would be the road between two thorns. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not following script. If I put it in front of me, I'll know what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah. Report of the treasurer, Vicky. How about it? No, that's something I would do.
All right, good morning. Okay, this morning we'll be talking about the 2025 financial statements for the American Jersey Cattle Association. And the association reported net income from operations of $136,432 for 2025. And financial information that is presented in our annual reports was performed by our accounting firm Eisner & Amper. We do get an audit every year. The organization's audit provides the highest level of assurance that our financial statements and accompanying disclosures are presented accurately. The auditor's letter does state that your organization has reported financial position as of December 31, 2025 fairly in all material respects according to accounting principles accepted in the United States. So we will start by summarizing 25, and I've got two clickers.
It's the gray one. The gray one, the other one.
Yeah. That's why we have to look. Okay, operating revenue, $2,984,774. Operating expenditures, $2,848,342. For net income from operations of $136,432. Net income from the All-American this year, $31,006, Great All-American. Total net assets of December 31, $3,434,941. And those net assets do include marketable securities of $2,267,224. The association reported net realized and unrealized gains of $141,554.25. Total net income for the year was reported at $323,256. Sources of revenue from those operations, identification, most of that would be HERT services, 56%, performance, 26%, Jersey Journal 6%, and other 12%. Your association did report a strong financial performance from operations and investments in '25. Therefore, the AJC Board of Directors designated $50,000 from 2025 net income for future research and development projects, marking its continued commitment to the advancement of the Jersey region. Also, at this time, we do like to report on our research scholarship and special awards and youth funds. The AJCC, so the AJCC Research Foundation, funded directed research of $4,763 related to whole herd reporting. Total net assets in the research fund at the end of '25, $3,567,282. Our scholarship funds awarded 16 scholarships totaling $37,350. The combined net assets in the scholarship fund is $874,849. All U.S. Jersey managed scholarship funds are maintained and recognized by the IRS as perpetual funds. Only net earnings are awarded annually from these funds. So thank you to the many members who continue to support and provide contributions to these scholarships, which enables us to increase the value of those scholarships year over year. Maury Core Fund contributed $10,610 to the 2025 All-American Youth Activities, reported net assets of $160,822. The Jersey Youth Academy, the end of '25, $753,239. We hosted the 9th Academy class in Columbus last July. Again, another incredible group of youth selected from around the country. Since inception in 2009, we've hosted over 250 Jersey youth as part of this program. The one endowment fund that we'd like to see grow is the one that's not self-sustaining right now, so keep in tune to this so we can get that to at least $1 million, so we can just work off of the earnings and its perpetual fund at that point in time, hopefully. Your association continues to focus on providing progressive, innovative, and value-added programs and services designed to improve and increase the profitability of the Jersey town and the success of your Jersey business today and for future generations, while ensuring the long-term financial sustainability of the association. In closing, I just want to say it's been both an honor and pleasure to spend my career with U.S. Jersey organizations. I'm forever grateful for the opportunities, personal growth, and knowledge this organization has provided throughout the years. The greatest reward has been the mentors, my experiences, lifetime friendships that I have that has enriched my journey, shaped my career, but also my life along the way. These relationships and memories are treasures I will carry with me always. Thank you for the privilege for allowing me to serve this organization and its members. Thank you.
Next up, we're going to split the executive secretary's report. Chris is going to start off.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Vicki, for everything. And that also worked out really nice because I was going to ask everyone to stand and wake up a little anyway, so that's perfect. All right, first of all, we're going to see if I can figure out how to work the clicker. That's longer, skinnier, right?
The big button is forward.
Yep. All right. So I want to, first of all, walk through a few highlights. We're going to do kind of a summary version of our typical year in review. So the first thing we want to hit on real quick is some highlights from the year. And this list actually comes from employees. So in early January, we have our annual staff conference. And last couple of years, we've told employees ahead of time and said, hey, tell us what some of the highlights of the year were for you. So this list comes from employees. So first of all, I think this is great. Obviously, Vicki's already touched on this. All 3 companies finished in the black. Fantastic. Next one, successful All-American shows and sales. We had large, really successful events. we made money, and it was great to see all that enthusiasm and support. A new Young Sire program promoting pure Jersey genetics. If anyone has questions on that later, John Metzger would be happy to provide some more details on that, but we're excited about getting that program off the ground. Strong private treaty sales. Launch of our new US Jersey website. Looks beautiful and I think is much more user-friendly for people. Modernization of several of our programs, including Jersey Mate, Jersey Score, and the Jersey Directory. So a couple of these don't necessarily look different to you as the customer, but on the backside, there's quite a few changes that have been made. Recruitment of some outstanding new team members. We added a handful of new team members this year on the appraisal side. Caitlin, so it's always great when you can bring in new ideas, new energy. And then enhanced customer communications through the US Jersey Journal website and the new wire that's going out via email. Okay, what will our customers see in the next year? First of all, touched on this already, but greater efficiency in our online programs and services, and updates to InfoJersey. Again, I don't think this is going to necessarily look a lot different to you as a customer, but on the back end, there's going to be some ease of use and some efficiency. Renewed focus on AMR lactation, automated milk recording lactations. We think that's a high priority for our association. And then also continued support of national milk initiatives that will benefit our breeders. We have a pretty fantastic picture here that Kate took for us. So we're going to summarize a few things related to production, registrations, performance programs, the appraisal program, and the wire. Registrations, we registered just over 80,000 head this year, so we all know and understand that number's down a little bit. Single biggest impact on that is the use of beef semen on jerseys. Top 5 states for registrations: California, #1 state for many, many years now. Wisconsin was #2, Oregon #3. Wisconsin and Oregon have switched back and forth depending on the year, and then Pennsylvania and New York round out that list. We had a strong year for transfers, over 14,000 transfers, and transfers are off to a great start so far this year, and that's kept Lori and her team busy. We sold just shy of 200,000 sets of jersey tags to 778 customers. Some other program highlights. We have about 144,000 cows enrolled on performance programs. That would be about 1,050 total herds. We already touched on the transfers, and then 93% of these cows are on breed herds, in breed herds. Production highlights from the year. I think this is something that we maybe have not talked about as much, so it seems like there's been a lot of chatter in the industry about jerseys versus other breeds, and I want to continue to stress the fact that Jersey has made improvements in milk, fat, and protein every single year. If you look at the chart, we have a chart that shows the last 5 years. Every single year, year over year for the last 5 years, we have made improvements. So we as a breed are not slipping. We maybe haven't made as quick of, as much progress as other breeds, particularly the big black and white cow, but we have continued to make improvements every single year in terms of milk, fat, and protein. So our lactation average was 18,669 actual milk, 954 of fat, 707 of protein. That puts us at 2,419 pounds of cheese yield, or on a cheese yield basis, and 23,868 pounds for energy corrected milk. And then we've got our ME lactation average, 20,711, 1,059 of fat, and 788 of protein. Give me one example. All right, linear type appraisal program. This continues to be a highlight for us. Our type conference this year was held at Grand Olms Dairy in Hillmar, California in February. This past year, we scored just shy of 93,000 pounds. Our record, of course, was back in 2015. We scored 1,482 herds in 48 states. So the appraisers were very busy this year. This is our current appraisal team, plus our fearless leader, John, who helps us keep track of all the data. It did work that time, huh? All right, we have our type appraisal committee, always a really important and talented group of people. This committee rotates, but as you can see, we're very well represented in terms of herd size and geography and breeding philosophy. So that's something that we're always very proud of, is to have a diverse group representing our breeders. Jersey Journal has had lots of exciting stuff going on this year. We will continue with the 2 printed issues every year. One is probably going to continue in January, our All-American wrap-up issue, and then the other issue will likely stay in the fall for our youth issue. Then in May, the communications team launched the U.S. Jersey Journal Wire, which is a new email newsletter, and I think Alan already touched on, that is reaching a huge number of people in comparison to the printed journal. Is that it? All right, that's all we have for slides. Is there any questions? Neil's got a little bit more information, and then if you guys have questions, you can feel free to ask. Thank you.
As you can see, it's time for me to move aside. Good job, Kristen. So, most of what I want to say this morning is food for thought to leave with you. This will be my last opportunity to speak to the membership live, face to face. Hope to, good Lord willing, work through the end of the year, and hope to be at all our other Jersey events, and kind of a bittersweet time for me, because spent my entire adult life working for Jersey. So, not trying to scold anybody here this morning, just trying to leave a few thoughts with you. So, Kim and her team come up with that, the Jersey, ready for what's next. Now, I like it. Well, what is next? Because, we think we're ready, we hope we're ready. But, I've always felt like the Jersey cow has responded to our challenge. When we said we got to get more milk, we're going to breed more milk, and the production levels today amaze me. Because I go back to my mother still has an award on her mantle that Dad got. I don't remember the year, but I was in middle school, so a long time ago. But Mississippi, the state I grew up in, was the 5th highest registration state for jerseys at that time. Why? All Jersey milk market. Our milk was going, I'd get on the school bus and say, yeah, that old Jersey milk in there in Winn-Dixie, that's our milk. Yeah. I remember being proud of that. It didn't last long, because eventually the federal orders kicked it out. But Dad had the highest herd in the state for production at 10,000 pounds. Boy, that was a big deal. Probably in 1970-ish, that's around where it was. So we've come a long way on production. The Jersey cow has responded, and I believe that statement. I do. I think that the Jersey breed can handle a lot more challenges. but we sometimes can't foresee all those challenges. So, a couple days ago, we celebrated the 50th year of the equity program, and I stood up here and told you that I believe it served as a catalyst to help us turn the breed around, and I sincerely, I really, really believe that. What's significant about it for me, though, as a thought to leave with us, is they worked together. We worked together. We had a common goal, let's get it done. We weren't half of us running over here and half of us the other direction. That's the key. We have to work together. We don't have the luxury of not doing so. Because we're small in numbers, and the numbers are getting smaller. I'll show you that in a minute. So, Stan Irwin put some information in front of us the other day also. He's with DMI, he worked in here. And the signals are strong that the demand for protein is growing. It's in a surge at least. And there's a lot of new technology out there, a lot of new treatments, and people we've got some things that are just about a miracle for people who lose weight, but they're going to need the protein or we're going to lose too much muscle. So protein demand is growing fast, and we've got to hitch up our britches, so to speak, and help make it happen to get 2% and higher milk in our school meal program. The law has changed, but that's not going to be automatic. We're going to have to help make that happen. I probably had my slides backwards, didn't I? So this one is what I was talking about with my dad's, that's where we were even in 1977. And so we've made a lot of progress, but it can be a lot better. We need to continue to challenge the Jersey cow. Can I back this up, Phil? Yeah. And there's a pointer right there. Circle that 788, y'all. That ought to be 900. Just take that home with you. Try to make it happen. I'm not suggesting we compromise all the fitness traits for any of them, for that matter. They're important. If we focus more on pounds of protein, we can make this breed more profitable. So, this is a little bit of a history lesson here, and there's a lot of time in this map, so we're charting. I think it's, 1924. And I wanted to touch back on history a little because sometimes it repeats itself. And Walter, there was a time when the Jerseys were in charge in this country. We were 42% of the dairy cattle population in the United States. And in a few moments, I'm going to show you a picture that proves why. But we'll come to that in a little bit. So, these are, y'all probably can't read that back there either. Could you hear me without a mic over this way? Is that good? So in 1935, that's the era at least, we were about 42% of the population. And we had this Jersey Creamline program that was pretty popular also, very successful. And in 1953, for a long time, several decades, that was the all-time high for registrations of 87,000. So they didn't have a lot of penetration in that high percentage of jerseys. There weren't a lot of people registered them, apparently. But this was a big year, and when we researched that with like they had moratorium, special effort, I bet half of them didn't get very far, but that don't matter. That's another subject.
But, at that time, I think, as we move into this dip here, that line is registration, by the way. So, from the Great Depression until the late sixties and early seventies, we got in there in that period, and commercial dairymen just didn't pay much attention to our breed because they weren't productive enough. So what happened? So back up, and I promise I'll have pictures that'll help you see this. Back here, the Jersey cow was more productive as compared to other breeds at that time. And in the minutes of the association, the board of directors, it was the cattle club, it's clear to see that they were willing, as a board, they knew they had sloppy udders. It's a fact, they did in 1925, and 1930, etc. But they were productive enough that they were very competitive. And they were willing to compromise to fix the udders. It's clear in the minutes. I've studied that, and they accomplished that. And they bred the milk right out. So, an example of going a little too far. I'm glad they fixed it, but I wish they would have had a better balance. So, we'd be farther ahead today if they had. So all Jersey, that's natural all Jersey, comes into play in the very late 50s, early 60s. And it got more organized a few years later. But a big turning point for all of U.S. dairy breeders, predicted difference evaluation. So, hard to believe until you study enough to understand, but at that time, when the industry adopted PD, that's 1968, when that happened, the majority of purebred registered breeders of all breeds that were viable at the time, you have to remember that artificial insemination was in its infancy. So these registered herds got to sell every bull calf as a breeding bull. They registered them and sold them. And they were the ones that resisted PD evaluation. Hard to believe it. But the reason was they didn't want to give up the market they had. So we had to get through that battle as an industry. That wasn't a Jersey issue, it was all breed. So we bottomed out as this situation develops. In those mid-70s, we got as low as 33,000 registrations the bottom year there. And we averaged, did you take the average one out of there? Yeah, okay. So we wound up averaging for the 70s, it was like 35,000 for that decade per year. That's close enough. So, wonder why Jersey Marketing Service was thought up and started along that time. Real simple. It was so bad, sale managers didn't want to bother with Jersey. The only sale public auction we had was the state association putting on a consignment. Because if you had a Jersey herd to disperse, they might do it, but they weren't anxious to. And we believed we needed to raise the awareness, get the information out about the changing Jersey breed. That was a little small role that Jersey Marketing and the Jersey Journal helped tell that story. And it was successful. So, genetic recovery was introduced at the same time. That board was thinking. I mean, they were working hard. They had to make tough decisions. The other day, I used the word courage. Those of you going to be on the boards going forward here, you got to summon the courage to make tough decisions. We have enjoyed a great part of our success. It's been our directors have consistently found the courage to say, wait a minute, this isn't working. We got to fix it. And that's Y'all know the history of that. So that's been the real key. So genetic recovery affected or impacted registration is very positive. You can see it starts turning. And then they had 1976, an equity program, the NAJ board pushing for that. They were working together. Don't have time for all the detail, but if you were sitting in our library and reading those minutes, it's just one thing after another, steps they took. And the real interesting thing, today, you know, we're all electronic production of the minutes of a board or a meeting like this. In that time, it was like a court reporter. Those minutes are written as Director Vanderbilt stated X. Director Johnson countered X. That's the way they're written. It's quite entertaining because I knew some of these people. But anyway, so they were working together. Hang on to that because it's so important going forward. A lot of challenges out in front of us. And then came the REAP program. Look what happened as this caught on. Registrations took off. It was gradually climbing, building momentum through the 80s. In 1994, REAP, that was a lot of dairymen saying, you know, we got to make this a little more attractive. This little bit going in this program, somebody in this program, and you know, we bounce around. We wouldn't get to score a herd, but every year and a half in a lot of places. Well, those 2-year-olds went dry. They didn't even contribute to the science on there. So, well, their production did, but not the type. So we're moving forward there, and then we have component pricing achieved in 2000 in the majority of the federal orders. We probably received another surge there. And sex semen, and now the combination of sex semen and beef on dairy has had a sort of negative impact. I'm estimating 15% impact on registration because you're just not making as many heifers as you used to. We still have 144,000 cows on the performance program. That peak year, that was 2017. Remember that date or that year, because there's a couple more relevant points here. But that peak year was also influenced by either 2 or 3, might have been 3 really large herds, registration catch-up, new herds that agreed to go on REAP, and they have to be really large herds. So that got bumped. But there's some other things that play into genomic testing was introduced and became available to us commercially in about 2010. There's a good bit of impact there in genetic improvement, accurate ID, a lot of playing a real important role. So the first year that we exceeded 100,000 registrations, I believe it was 12, 13, 12. And then we had how many consecutive years over 100,000? 13, unlucky number. Because the last couple of years we've dropped below 100. Now, Kristen shared with you, don't worry too much, we're stable there. We're on target right now for another 80,000 like last year. But that's where I'm coming part of where I'm calculating the 15% impact from use of beef on dairy. Now, I gotta say this, I don't blame you for making those beef calves. They were worth so much, I cannot. It's incredible. And you need to capture that income. We totally get that. I'm not complaining about it. It's just a matter of fact that's impact. So then we had, I always, when I got this chart up, our government makes probably most of our Americans, they make enough mistakes. They got that one right. Outlawing trans fats. It almost doubled the value of your butter fat. That change alone. Tremendous impact. So these are all things that impacted our business across time. And, now we got this whole meal, in the school meal program challenge. And I said I wanted to leave talk with you. I still cannot believe we sat around and let it happen in 2012 or 13. Shame on us. We should have looked in. That never should have happened to our American kids. We all know the importance of milk, and they ain't gonna drink skim milk. It don't taste very good. So, now, if you like skim milk, I respect it. I don't like it. I want some Jersey cream in there. Okay, talk about leadership. The importance of strong leadership. Recently, you voted to amend the Constitution and bylaws for, we now have 3 districts. President Chitman touched on it. I think it's a great change. The board got that right. Now, you know, once it's balanced out, you'll have 4 directors in each of the 3 districts. And if you ever, whenever it comes, it's set now, so that it'll be easy to change if you need to reduce the size of the board. Because with just 3 districts, you drop to 9 real easy. So I'm not predicting that, I'm just saying that they restructured very well done. That doesn't change the importance of leadership. I want to encourage every one of you, if you are not interested in running for director in the future, think about who in your district that you know is qualified and encourage them to do it. Because we need people who think outside, and I don't like that old outside the box thing everybody poured out, but, you know, people who think about what's best for the breed rather than what's best for just my operation. That's important as a leader. And if we had pictures of the boards up here for, you know, the last 10 or 20 decades, they were who's who of the breed by the time they were done. And then this might sound silly to y'all, but if God's willing, I'll be 67 in October. Most of these people, if I had the history, how old do you think Dick Claus was when he was president of the AAC? You're thinking of it right now as a 90-something-year-old man. Late 50s. We need to get people to run while they're in the prime of their life. No disrespect, but I'm not quite on the cutting edge as I once was. That's the truth. It's just natural. It happens to us. We need to encourage people that are in the industry, working hard, that need the good, impactful decisions, you know, that can help us make those. So, I guess, talk enough about that. Here's one that we can't do anything about. Back up. But it's a fact of life. 2003 on the left, there were 70,000 licensed dairy farms in the U.S. 2025, it is below 24,000 now. Licensed dairy farm, that's not herds on DHI, that's licensed dairy farm. So, this line is the cow count. It's actually increased a little bit. So, sometimes there's myths. People think, based on what's happening, I've heard from several smart people who said, well, the herd's going to get a lot older because y'all aren't making as many heifers and breeding all that feed. Is it? I'm not sure it is. Some of you have told me no. The average age of my herd hasn't changed. So maybe it will, depending on how long it stays in the effect, but here's what's happened. The word consolidation applies, and it has all the way across that 2.5 decades. We can't change that, but it's gonna keep happening. And they're gonna build larger rotary parlors and more robots and milk more cows, not because they're a factory farm, but because if you bring your next generation in, back to school to the farm, you gotta do something different. It's status quo don't usually work. Okay, that one, we can't do anything about. This one either. Seaman sales, the tall bar, jumping a little chat at it. The tall bar represents domestic seaman sales for Jersey. The darker blue is export of Jersey seaman. The bottom one is the customer collection. Focus on the domestic seaman sales. Remember I said 2017 was a significant year. 2017, highest U.S. Jersey produced semen marketed in the U.S. So, we don't have, we'll just go back to 2016 here, but there was a big run-up of registrations where we benefited from sex semen use. You made more heifers and the reef herds, and, you know, that grew our registrations, maybe you could say a little artificially. Now, the opposite is happening as you adjust your operation strategy to, I'm gonna make the heifers I need for my herd, to augment your own herds. Some of you are only making, you know, maybe a third of the cow count. So we've dropped on down there, and we're at 11% of the market share. We peaked at 15% of market share, but it's mostly the impact of breeding some of the beef. Other breed numbers look similar. Now, something just occurred to me to one of the points that President Chetman made. You know, I was a field man for 5 years, and I had the privilege of managing Jersey marketing service for almost 10 years. And in those roles, I ran into a lot of people who milked, well, most of them milked Holsteins, but a lot of folks milk a cow that is bigger. And I've been hearing that, well, the beef price, you know, the salvage value is so much, you know, Jersey just ain't worth nothing when you cull it. We don't cull it, you do. That's what I tell them. What are you culling her for anyway? Is she any good? So, it's kind of sarcastic, I know. But there's some truth to it. So you might train your people with a little comeback. So, Kristen, remember that for your building. Another little trick that I tried one time, and you gotta get to know him pretty good. But there was a guy in Georgia, he's out of business now, but he's milking Holsteins, and he just worried me to death for about a year. He'd call every week, you know, looking for jerseys, and he didn't want to pay nothing. Well, they can't be worth that much, because the Holstein, now I kept hearing that beef thing. And so I finally went to see it. And Barry Collins had some heifers for sale, boy, they were good, you know. And, hey, that was in the late 80s. $950 would knock out the best Jersey heifer, Freeman heifer. Maybe 1,000. And so, by then, I knew this guy pretty good. I knew what he was feeding. And when he loaded, he met me at Barry Collins and bought 10 heifers and was going to put them in a Holstein herd. And we got them loaded. Well, thank you for your help and everything. And I said, I got two messages for you. Number one, hire a good nutritionist. He said, well, what do you mean? He didn't even know what it was. So I said, for you to be happy with these jerseys, you're going to have to feed them. They don't build on starvation. And he said, well, that kind of stings. You're implying. I said, yeah, all you're feeding is sorghum, silage, and grass, and they ain't going to kill much milk on that. And you know, he listened. And it turned out great. That little example, you got to build a relationship to do it. So, I wanted to touch on, real quick, 2017 again, NAB members, all combined, domestic beef semen sales, 2.5 million units. There's 90 million beef guys. They really were bulls. Think about the management style, and they probably don't handle real well for artificial insemination. So, everything kicked in gear for beef on dairy there, and in just 7 or 8 years, we jumped to right at 10 million units of beef semen sales through NAB members in the United States. That's domestic use. 2.5 million to 10 million. That's a huge impact on their business. So they had to think different. You can bet they're happy to have that replacement, but they'd like to be selling both Jersey semen and Holstein semen, I'm sure. So, we can't do anything about this one either, but it's having a big old impact on it. All right, to sort of reiterate, a little emphasis on protein and in general, more production. This is production trends of all breeds, well, 5 breeds, because we've got Holstein and Red Holstein combined there. But protein production through DHI, the bottom row is 2025, and so Brown Swiss is at 730 pounds of protein. Jersey is at 720 pounds. We're not even second on protein production. Almost, but not quite. And then Holstein is at 814. We need to improve that one. Please pay closer attention to that. The fat, of course, we're doing a little better, and we're in a strong second place. And 960, this is actual production. 968 for us, 1165 for Holstein. And what I wanted to, I should have done this on the protein. 6.8% change in the last 10 years. Holstein has moved 3% on protein. On fat, Holstein has moved 23% in the last 10 years. Jersey, 9%. Brown Swiss, 10%, or 10.5%. Everybody moves the fat production, looks like. And so you get back to the logic, you want something to grow, make it more valuable, and it will. People respond in dairy operations because you can feed, you can change the ration and really impact fat. And then pounds of milk, we've moved 4.3%, Holstein 7.7%, Brown Swiss 7%. Even Guernsey has moved 12%. They had a lot further to go than the rest of us. Well, probably one of the real key factors to improving production, I'd say all performance traits, is genomics. You know, we got better information to work with. So we don't want to, we have a lot of better tools as we grow forward. Now, I want to wrap up here a little bit. Since it's my last address to you, you can give me a little room there. The previous 4 ideal Jersey cows. If you've been to any of these meetings in the last 26 years, you've seen this before, because I've used it several times. 1925. Now, we don't have the current one, we're going to put her in front of these. John, which one looks the wettest? 100 years ago. That's the wettest to me. 1925. I'm talking natural dairy. Sloppy udder, yes. Remember I talked about that. 1950, they made a lot of improvement in the udder. Look how compact she became. A cow that's that tight is not going to be super productive in any breed. can't consume enough. She's pretty and nostalgic, and if we look, that painting, if we sell one in a research auction, it's popular. It's real popular. She's very pretty. So then, in '72, didn't have quite as good an artist that year, I'd say. Because we can't see the ribs on this cow, can we? There's nothing defined. It's like too smooth. But they got the udder, their goal, it took them 50 years, but they achieved the udder change. Still wouldn't give them enough milk. Remember, that's in the '70s. Breed was almost died. But I'll tell y'all, a kid in high school, when that come out, I didn't, I was involved in dairy judgment. I didn't doubt it. When Mr. Kavanaugh came to our state, I had to order a picture. Gotta have it. You see how good her udder is? Dad would say, yeah. I don't know, she ain't very dairy. But then we come across first Bonnie Moore painting for us, 1990. Looks a lot like Highland Magic Dunkin' Donuts, don't you, Jonathan? There's a reason they put the Dunkin' pictures out on the table and said, use all of that. But that's probably, in fairness, maybe she's more productive, more dairy. But the natural productive, that cow, we went the wrong way after her. So, here we are, and the rear udder's not high enough, it's not wide enough, and the cow's too narrow. We gotta fix this. Her neck's too long. It looks like a giraffe. After we loved her for a few years, started saying those things, So, now, they're already tearing her apart. Should be. Don't worry about that. In a few years, y'all do another one. But she's pretty good. Strong enough to sustain it, dairy enough to make it happen, convert feed. The other is right on the money. Great feet and legs, neck looks too short. I'll admit it. Kayleen, don't you print that. I don't want Bonnie to be offended. But we told her that the other one's neck looked like a giraffe, and boy, but I know I gotta move on. He's giving me the evil eye. But I'm a visual learner, and I've read that 85% of the people in the world are visual learners. Show us a picture and we'll get it. That's why I use these pictures. So we got to keep improving even the current version. We can still do better. All right, but you know these pictures are going to be up here.
Nope. Your daughter is amazing, and so is your husband.
We decided we would have a little fun with you. All in
At least there's some young ones.
all in respect. In respect. We got a couple young ones of me too. I look pretty big. But this lady gave 46 years of her. Started when he was 18, right? 17. She's never worked anywhere else. So, what does that tell us? Number one thing is she was dedicated. Absolutely. But number two, it's a strong organization. That represents a strong organization that we can hire good people and manage to keep them that long. Now, Vicki's kind of unique, but she's definitely also a very special person. One of my best friends, I did not know that she was going to snap up and retire when I announced that I was going to retire. So she's younger than I am. She was supposed to work a few more years, but she's already worked longer than I did. So, Vicki, thank you. You've been awesome. So, Now we're gonna, and even this one's out of date. My hair wasn't as Snow White then. But I've been running from the camera here lately, you know. But, just for fun. So I wanted to say that it's been an honor and a privilege to work for you. When Ori Core offered me my job as a field rep, and I say this realizing that a lot of people would not have viewed it this way, but for me at that point in my life, it was the opportunity of a lifetime. That's the way I viewed it. And it's worked out pretty well for me. So I just want to say thank you for your help, support, and cooperation. Because I always believed that we were a group of people pulling together for a common goal. And, you know, this is our life. You are raising families at home from the milk check and hopefully sometimes some genetic sales. And it's just been a privilege to get to do this. And I sincerely have enjoyed it. There's been a few bumps, but we got through them. So thank you for that. And we took this picture yesterday, so we've got a current one, Kevin. I look a little older there. So that was, Kate just took that picture yesterday. And so my thoughts to leave with you about that is Kristen Barlas Paul is prepared, educated, has the pedigree, and ready to lead your organization. I have no doubt. She'll do a great job, and I'm asking you, give her the same support, help, and cooperation you gave me, and it'll be a success. Okay? Can we do that?
Okay, at this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the officers' report. Second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. I'd now like to call on Walter Owens to the election report.
After counting the ballots received, the following candidates have received the majority of the votes cast in each contest. President re-elected would be Alan Chittenden. First district elected would be Linda Lear. Second district re-elected would be Ted Dement. And third district elected would be Princess Hogan Kilgoy.
Thank you all. Seeing that I'm re-elected again, it's my honor to introduce the newly elected members of the board. Please stand. Ted Dement. Linda Lear. North. And Kristen Hogan Kilgore is not here, I don't think. We all have met her before too, many times in Louisville. Just met her. Thank you. Look forward to their service on the board. This time, we try to recognize some of our retired directors. Usually have some directors that have served, currently serving, or in the past to maybe say a few words. So this time, Becky Ferry is our first retired director. Bradley Taylor, couldn't wait for the opportunity. Are you nervous, Becky?
Alan said, normally a current HCA board member does this, but I guess they're gonna call in some extra help for Becky. So, I had the opportunity to serve 40 years with Becky, and everybody already knew Becky, and she's got some characteristics. She jumped right in, and we, the other day when John Marcoux went off the NAJ board, I said when he spoke, he got right to the point. We're not gonna say that about Becky. She did, always had some good ideas, and she eventually got to the point most of the time. If you wanna know what Becky's thinking, just, you have to listen, because she's probably already told you what she's thinking. But she's very resourceful, you know, she a lot of times has a scooter, she has a lot of places, you know, work, or look at your car door for some money from shit on. And then she worked on that scooter too, she's pretty good, I've seen her work on it with a vegetable hammer a few times, and she'll get it going somehow or another most of the time. But Becky's been a great friend and an inspiration for a lot of us, and thank you for your service.
Well said, Bradley. I don't know that I can say it any better, but I will say that when Becky's there, she usually makes sure that we're finished on a topic before she lets it go. I mean, there's no, you know, like, oh, well, I'll ask later what they really. No, Becky's gonna know right now. She doesn't let anything slide. So, Becky, if you could please go forward.
Can I say one thing?
You sure can.
So I think Becky always spoke her mind, and as a breeder out there, rest assured, she tried to represent the issues that were important to you. And I always respect her for that. She didn't hold back. You want to say anything?
Oh, you know I'm going to.
Should we be seated?
Get back. I'm pretty sure you can.
Project, yeah, you're done.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Alright, so I've thought about this for the last year, what exactly I'm gonna say, and I've listened to a lot of people do this over the 8 years and before I was on the board. But this morning I woke up like 5 o'clock and I was really, really inspired. And one of the things was yesterday's visit to the College of the Ozarks. It's, thank you to Janice and Benny for having us go there, because I know I wasn't the only one that was kind of like, where are we going, you know? But it was really refreshing. They serve their fellow students. They get uncomfortable and learn from others. They think outside the box. I know that's cliche saying, but they're selfless in their actions. And to me, that's really what we do as a breed, as we do for each other and for this organization. So in this time of leadership changes, I want to challenge the board in the future to be inspired by those students. Think outside of yourselves and outside of the box to propel this breed to the future and empower Kristen to do the same. I have truly been honored to be able to be part of this board, to try and give back to an association that has done so much for me. To that little brown cow that was the motivation for me to walk, that doctors told me I never would do, that cow has touched every single member in this room, one way or another. That's why we're here. That's why we care, and that's why we show up. She works hard for us, and we owe it to her to work hard for her. I have truly been blessed to make so many friends from other board members, staff, other breeders that might have called up when we changed the journal and had a little disagreement on what we did. But it was a good conversation of why we did it and hope for the best. I have been able to learn so much from everybody that I've met along the way. I look forward to all the exciting things that come to the future and the changes that will happen. Thank you to my parents for always being there to support me and my sisters, allowing us to do things that they can never do or afford to do, and still pushing us to do more. To my sister Sandy, who is covering the farm so I can be at the meetings, for putting up with me every day. And thank you to everybody who has ever done anything for me, any encouragement, any kind words. It's truly meant a world to me, and I appreciate it so much.
We have a plaque, and is there a jersey? Yeah. So, in appreciation for your service, we appreciate all your work and.
Don't stand in front of me.
Yeah, you don't take pictures. Get that down.
Short enough. Kristen, can you grab that water glass, so, thank you. All right,
Okay.
here we go. Got it.
Thanks. Thank you.
Our other retiring director this year would be Gary Hansen from Oregon. Unfortunately, Gary had to go home to help get things done. But we still would like to have somebody speak on his behalf. I think Joe was going to say a few words. Fellow Oregon director.
All of us out in District 1, or 3, I guess, is we definitely have appreciated all that Gary has done for us. He's not only been our director here lately over the last 2 terms, but he's always been a champion for our breed out in our district. He's always doing things that help us to remember to come together, and he really is a people mover. So during these times that when people aren't always trying to know what's going on with the association, Gary really is about reasoning with us, bringing both sides of the story, and doing all he can to help the promotion of our breed. So we were really lucky that he served on that board for us, and we also want to say that we know that he's going to keep doing great things for us, so thanks.
And I will say, Gary was the first one that I appointed in this turnover in our changing the districts. Gary, we got an extra year out of Gary. We actually got 7 years instead of 6.
Well, I first got to meet Gary probably early 90s, and I was appraiser for U.S. Jersey, of course, and I know I've been told by Al Meyer to not wear any advertising for hats like bull studs or farm hats or anything like that. So being young and dumb, I decided it was a good idea to wear a newly champion Chicago Bulls hat into Portland, and Gary was my first stop. So, I get out of the car and he's like, Chicago Bulls, huh? Like, oh, then it dawned on me. Not a good idea. Well, anyway, come to find out that I finally got the subject changed to baseball, and come to find out Gary and I are both big St. Louis Cardinals fans, so things healed up pretty quickly. We didn't talk about basketball anymore that trip. But, Gary's just been such a great service to us, and I think he's kind of that Clint Eastwood type, tall, imposing, and And when he talks, which is not a lot, but he's got everybody's attention, and his points are always on point, and we will definitely miss his presence at the meetings, and I hate it that he can't be here today, but congratulations to him for doing such a great job.
Okay, is there any old business that come before the meeting today? Seeing none, is there any new business you want to bring before the meeting? Moving right along, that'll bring us into our production awards. Neil?
Okay, so, on the back of your program agenda, you will see, the top 10 in each category listed of the leading living lifetime. I'm not gonna read all those off, don't worry, but we're gonna touch on the highlights here. First of all, annually, the Jersey organization presents a production award called the President's Trophy. And it was presented first in 1923 to the cow completing the highest actual fat record during the year. Since 1990, it has been awarded to the cow completing the top record for ME pounds protein. So, and then the Hilmar Cheese Trophy is presented to the cow with the highest yield of 38% moisture cheddar cheese, calculated from actual production of no more than 305 days completed during the contest year. So, taking home both of those honors this year is a young cow bred by the Howard King family in Fremont, Ohio. JX Jerbel Hole-in-One Eagle 6ET finished her second lactation with an ME of 1,535 pounds of protein to take top honors in the President's Trophy contest. This young cow also produced 4,711 pounds of cheese as a 3-year-old to capture the Hilmar Trophy. Eagle's production in 2025 at 3 years and 5 months of age at calving, actual 305-day record is 31,390 pounds of milk, 1,452 pounds of fat, and 1,694 pounds of protein. She had an ME of 27,584 and 1,535 protein on the lactation. I don't think anyone's here from Jerbel, but congratulations to the King family on that outstanding young cow. So then we have the Leading Living Lifetime Awards, and so we recognize in 3 categories for this award, and then the awards are sponsored by Oxton Farm and what's called the Edivine Farm Trophy, and then the Hylon Farm Trophy. And so this is the cow still living at the time of completing the competition year. And Oakfield T-Bone Vivian E.T., owned by Kevin and Annetta Harrington, Dansville, New York, will be presented the Oxton Trophy for milk production, the Hylon Trophy, and the Edivine Farm Trophy for protein and fat. Vivian was bred by the former president of the Holstein Association, Jonathan Lamb and his family, his wife Alicia, from Oakfield, New York. Vivian topped the Leading Living Lifetime Production Contest for the third consecutive year with over 310,000 pounds of milk, 8 completed lactations, 16,748 pounds of fat, and 12,457 pounds of protein. Now, remember what we were talking about earlier, that the cow can do more? Not only has this cow made all this production and still going, she's 96 points and deserves every bit of it. She is one whale of a cow all the way around, and there are offspring everywhere. Just a lot of herds we go into saw the value in this cow. She, of course, is a direct descendant of Veronica, who is 97 points, one of the few. And so genetics do matter, but management is what's necessary for a cow to achieve this kind of production and lifetime achievement. So congratulations to the Harringtons on the accomplishments of Vivian. For the third consecutive year, she's won all 3 categories. Also, I want to say congratulations to anyone who has a cow that made this list. These are cows who have done everything we ask a Jersey cow to do. And that's the ultimate, is to last a long time and produce as these cows have. And so there are a few of you present in the room. I don't want to take the time to read through this entire list, but we have some awards. Those of you that are here who have a cow on this list, please come forward, and Vicki will present you with the awards. John Maxwell, you got one. Cinnamon Ridge got one. Lawton's, Dutch Hollow, and Hordes. Hordes Dairyman Farm had one on there. So, are y'all gonna come up or not? Get off us. Let's go. Congratulations.
There we go. All right.
Okay, so we do have a little extra for you today. We have a guest speaker. Katie Smith is Industry Relations Manager for the Council on Dairy Cattle Breeding. And we're really happy to have Katie with us today. And she's going to offer us some more information on what's new and what's coming at CDCB. Please make Katie welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me back. I have to say, the last time I was here, I got a beautiful picture of a Jersey cow, and she hangs behind me in my office every day. So I get to look at a beautiful Jersey cow, even though my resources I brought today do have a Holstein on them, so I apologize. So I have 3 quick things, hopefully quick things, to cover with you all this morning. The first one is something that was recently accomplished at CDCB to benefit the membership of Jersey Association and our other collaborators, and that is the Data Fuels Genetic Improvement Campaign. It is a set of materials that help explain how data needs to move from the farm to the National Cooperator Database for the benefit of genetic improvement. It is full of producer videos, animated videos, printed materials, case studies, frequently asked questions. We tried to put all of these resources together and then provide them to our 60+ collaborators to have those conversations with producers when you're looking to bring in new members to your association, when you're looking to encourage additional data collection and sharing. So if you have not seen these types of materials show up on your social media channels yet, in Progressive Dairy, in Hordes Dairymen, in newsletters around the industry, please keep an eye out for them. Those materials will continue to show up. I believe Jersey's probably shared some as well already. So we do have that going on as a completed project recently. Similarly to Jersey, also new communication efforts. We started a webcast series this year called the CECB Cowcast. It's a monthly project, so each month we do put out a new webinar that also gets turned into a podcast. So if you're more of a listener and not someone who wants to watch, you can listen as well. We do those monthly. We're trying to cover the big topics to get us started. And at some point, I'm sure we will shift into some of those more curious conversations where you just might learn something you didn't know you wanted to learn. So you can find those by scanning that QR code or by visiting the website. That is something that has recently happened. Now, the thing that is coming, I can also figure out how to work our, thank you, Jen, appreciate it. Big things that are coming for August. We are walking into a genetic evaluation moment where there will be 3 new traits introduced in August, as well as revisions to all of the current existing female reproductive performance traits. So that includes DPR, CCR, HCR, and EFC. We are going to walk through some of that today, but most importantly, what I want you to know is that in the pile of resources on your chairs this morning were 2 pieces. There's a single flyer as well as this booklet. I think, you can go to the next slide. I think it's about calf health. Nope, okay, we'll come back to that. That's good. First one, this flyer is front and back. This is about the calf health traits. So for calf health, there is a resistance to diarrhea and a resistance to respiratory problems. This trait, or those 2 traits, when launched, will be launched for Jerseys as well as for Holsteins. So we're really excited to have those 2 new traits come out to the industry for both breeds at the onset. There was enough data to support those Jersey traits at launch. The reliabilities are still fairly low. They're strong enough that we can make some genetic improvement. Those traits are 2.2 and 2.6% for heritability. So there is progress that can be made even with a lower reliability on those traits. As more data is collected and shared and brought into the database, we'll see those reliabilities grow and increase over time, similarly to how the cow health traits have worked for the Jersey breeders. So 2 new calf health, those details are on that flyer, front and back. If you have questions, I'm here today. We're gonna flip, Kim, if we can, because the more marquee side of all of this that's going on are the reproductive performance traits. So the first thing to cover is the other new trait. This is our 3rd new trait, first service to conception. It is on, I think, page 5 or 6 in your booklets, if you want to look at it in there. But essentially what FSC is we are measuring the days from the first service to conception of the cow, or conception of the pregnancy. This is going to be aligned similarly to other, like every other genetic evaluation. It is based off of the breed-based average. For FSC, a positive PTA is what we are striving for. We always want to breed towards the positive. So what that means is that positive PTAs will mean fewer days from first service to conception for this trait. So our example here, Jersey Bull, who has a PTA of 0 for FSC, we will expect his average daughters to have an FSC of 52 days, okay? If a bull B has an FSC PTA of positive 5, we expect his average daughters to have 47 days. So positive PTA, fewer days to conception, and then the inverse is true. So -5 means a 57-day average. So think positive is good, but it means less days. And we're always basing it off of the breed average. So for Jerseys, that's 52 days for this trait. If you're working with other breeds, those values are in that booklet, so you can look at them. The other thing to be aware of for this trait that's also in here is the range of PTA values is going to be very, very different than what we're used to seeing in our other reproductive traits. simply because DPR and CCR and HCR are all percentages, so we're measuring it differently or expressing it differently. So a DPR range is going to be a much more condensed range. For FSC, we're looking at about a -12 to a +15. So much bigger range because we are measuring in days, not percentages. Okay. I'm gonna let you guys read otherwise about the trait and the development, but that's kind of what the take-home message is on that. The other side of this coin are the updates to the existing traits. So altogether, there are 10 updates happening to the reproductive performance trait portfolio. One of those 10 changes is that new trait. The other 9 are also outlined in that document. I picked out 3 big ones that I think we all need to be very aware of that are a little bit more applicable to a producer level conversation. The first one is how voluntary waiting period is considered into DPR. Historically, DPR, which was introduced in 2003, worked with a static voluntary waiting period of 50 days. If we think back to 2003, that was pretty much the industry standard. Today, we know it's very, very different. We manage our cows differently, we have new technology, and that was impacting the environmental noise we were seeing in DPR. So what we're doing moving forward is having a voluntary waiting period that is specific for herd year and the lactation group. So essentially, a herd will be able to have its own voluntary waiting period considered into the model for these traits after the 20th percentile of cows has been bred for the first time. That will be considered the voluntary waiting period used by that herd. We are also splitting out first lactation cows from second plus lactation cows because we do know that those 2 groups are managed differently as well. So we're trying to accommodate some of those management practices, those environmental effects that get in the way of that clear genetic picture that we want to try to capture with genetic improvement or with PTAs. So that is what's coming on that one. That is going to have some major effects to DPR specifically, as well as CCR with some other changes, but we do expect changes there. For CCR and HCR, they have already been accounting for the mating type. So this would be gender sorted semen, conventional semen, natural breeding, or unknown. And we've also already been accounting for cows that are short cycling. So bred somewhere between 10 and 17 days post previous insemination. So those have already been accounted for. What the model is now going to also include is the service sire used on that insemination. So we're going to account for that. Again, trying to get a better picture of that genetic values of the cows. And then can you hit it one more time for me? And then the third thing that I want to point out, when this investigation started into the reproductive traits as a whole, there was really 2 big things we heard from the industry that pushed us into doing this. The first one is that our genetic trends were declining over time, even though there was really strong selection pressure placed on fertility and reproductive performance. Our phenotypes, so what cows were actually doing for us, were increasing. So we had an increase in phenotype, we had selection pressure being placed, we had a really good trait with CCR, but DPR continued to show this steady decline in genetic progress. And what we have learned is that the environmental noise was getting in the way. We had too many environmental and management effects that were still being captured in that genetic picture that was showing that decline over time. When we remove some of that noise, or as much as we can, we see that continue to increase now, which is great. We see it in CCR too. So we think we have a much stronger model that is predicting the genetic abilities of our cows. The other side of this is that we also saw PTAs for young bulls start really high for reproductive traits and then decline over time as more and more daughters were added to his proof. When daughters are added to a proof, we expect variation, right? We are adding more information. We don't expect a bull to remain stable throughout his entire lifetime, especially in the early days. We expect some bulls to go up, some bulls to go down, and some to stay the same. What was happening was a disproportionate number of bulls were decreasing. So we weren't seeing that nice, equal share of bull movement. The solution to that challenge is a delay in when we see daughter information enter a Bowles proof until 36 months of age for those daughters. So rather than a high-performance daughter entering the proof first, and then eventually her moderate sisters and her low sisters follow up, and then we see that decline happen, we're going to hit pause on daughter records entering the evaluation until 36 months, so that that whole group can enter together. So that is what we're seeing here on this third change here. It does mean that we will have a bull will have to wait a run, maybe 2, before more daughters are added to his proof. So there will be a delay in information, but it does have a very positive impact in the quality of genetic PTAs that you get to use and making good information or good decisions based on solid information. So that is coming with this change as well. One of the questions that we get a lot with this new FSC trait is how are we applying it amongst DPR and CCR that already exist. The big thing to note here, again, they're expressed differently. So 2 as a percentages, FSC as days. The trait ranges, like I talked about, very, very different for DPR compared to FSC. So you've got a 9-point range for DPR, and then again, a 17-day range for FSC. Daughter pregnancy rate, cow conception rate, heifer conception rate, early first calving, the definitions of those traits is still the same. We have not changed what those traits mean, what they are, what they're measuring. We have simply changed the model that is influencing and telling us what that value is. Okay, so we're still going to use those traits the same way we have been. We just have one more trait to add to the options of information to look at. So for DPR, it's about that voluntary waiting period is that big consideration in that trait. Again, looking at the percent of cows that will become pregnant in a 21-day period. Cow conception rate, you're looking at that conception rate success per insemination. So put semen in, is she gonna get pregnant or is she not? And the last one then is going to be, again, that days from that first service, regardless of whether you bred her for the first time at 50 days or if you bred her for the first time at 90 days, we're starting when that semen goes in her for the first time and how many days until she becomes pregnant. Okay, so we're not also measuring how many services did she get, right? That would be conception rate. This is going to simply be days from service until conception. So that is how we're applying these. As more traits have been added now, right, we're up to 5 fertility traits. It's likely that at some point this will become a sub-index. We're not there yet. We also will not see any 3 of these new traits included in the indexes in August. Standard operating procedure for us for new traits is that they're introduced during one run, and then we look to see how they can work into the index in a future run. So no direct changes to industry indexes in August. However, because the PTAs have changed, there will be changes in basically all of the indexes that utilize reproductive traits in their formulas. Okay, so you will see some variation in August, and it's likely because of the PTA values changing. Okay. The last thing I want to leave you all with, now that we have these new traits, they're going in 2 months, we're close, or really 6 weeks. We will then, again, look at a net merit revision, look at a cheese merit revision, and figure out how these new traits fit into that. On the horizon beyond that, our midterm, I guess, goal that we're working towards, we are modernizing the entire genetic evaluation system right now. So today we use a 2-step process where we consider pedigrees and cow phenotypes, so cow performance data, and we create a traditional evaluation, and then we consider genotypes and we create a genomic evaluation. Okay, so it's a 2-step process. We are moving to a model that other countries are already using called single step. Single step is when we're going to consider the phenotypes, the pedigrees, and the genotypes all at the same time, and we are going to produce one type of evaluation moving forward. This change is coming. It's not a if anymore, it is a when. When that happens, there will also be a move to monthly evaluations. Okay, so you all will start to see that normal triannual evaluation schedule where there's new phenotypes added each month when this new system goes into place. You will also see an annual genetic base change. So that 5-year rollback we always talk about that happened last year, it's going to happen each year. Okay, so those changes each year will be smaller, they'll be less drastic, but they will happen on an annual basis in this new system. There will be other things that change when this goes into place. We don't have a full picture of what that looks like yet. CDCB is working on having our system built by February of 2027. The industry adoption plan has not been agreed to yet. So I can't tell you that it's going to happen in this month or at this point in the year. But we are working on the collaboration to make sure the industry is ready and figuring out when they can be ready so that all 60+ organizations that are involved in the data movement into the national database can be prepared for this change. Okay, so this will mean big impacts for Jersey, big impacts for the industry as well in the coming short term. So that is the big thing on the horizon now that we have new traits coming in August. And I think that's my last slide, so I just want to close out with an acknowledgement for you all. You, as membership, have an incredible staff that we get to work with at CDCB with the Jersey folks. They're sharp, they're engaged, they're wonderful to work with, and I hope you realize that. And I want to give a big thank you on behalf of CDCB to Neil for his incredible years of service on our board of directors. He's been a part of CDCB since the get-go. So he has been a strong voice in our organization as well as yours. So we're very, very thankful and appreciative of his service to our group. I know we're not losing you quite as soon, so we're going to hold on to him a little bit or as long as we can. But very, very excited for Kristen to take lead here, and hopefully that means some engagement on your behalf with our organization moving forward as well. So thank you very much for the time this morning. I'm around if you have questions about any of the traits as well.
I was following along the program, so I didn't see that I was up next. But I'll keep it brief because I know that we're on a time schedule. But I would say over the last 5+ years, National Dairy Shrine is, if I had to describe it, it's working to become more relevant in the industry. And this year, that was also very important. And I'll just highlight some of the things that we're working on to make that come true. If you aren't following us on social media, you should be, because this year we did our awards live on Facebook back on May 4th. And if you were tuning in, you would see that we have a new award this year called the Emerging Leader Award. Certainly, all of the awards at Shrine are important to recognize people in the industry as a whole, but we thought something was missing in that group under 40 that is contributing a big part to the future of the dairy industry. So 4 award winners this year. You can look those up later. Other things I would highlight is record number of scholarship applications again this year, which seems to be a theme year over year. We also increased the dollar value of all of our scholarships this year, recognizing that school doesn't get cheaper. And other highlights I would say is we have started a Young Professionals webinar, which happens periodically, I would say about 4 times a year. Kristen actually was nice enough to join one of them called Bridging the Gap Between Generations, and there was another one recently on avoiding burnout in the industry. If you can't join them when they happen, they are all recorded, and they are referred to as Young Professionals webinar, but I'm not young and I still attend them. Nobody asks your age when you're online. I think that's all I got for this year. The last thing is we are undergoing pretty extensive process in transforming the museum. So if you haven't been there, you won't see a lot of changes yet, but in the next 2 to 3 years to come, you're gonna see some major changes in how the museum looks. So, thank you.
Thank you, Jason. I'd now like to call on our our National Jersey Queen, Nancy Morgan, please come forward. We've seen her out and about all week here, and I'll say she came all the way from Europe to be here for this. So there's dedication.
I would never miss this. Good morning, everyone. My name is Morgan Osborne Motley, and I have the greatest honor of serving you as your current National Jersey Queen. A goal I have had set for myself from the time I was little. I was going to speak today about the unbeaten path, as my journey has certainly has been a winding one. But if you know me, I'm more of a Dr. Seuss kind of girl, so in his words, out there things can happen, and frequently do, to people as brainy and as footy as you. And when things start to happen, don't worry, don't stew. Go along, they'll start happening too. Hailing from a 150 head registered Jersey herd, and that was production based, but had enough type to show. Growing up, our vacations were showcations. Louisville was as far as I traveled, and my parents liked to blame Jersey Youth Academy for the reason that I'm never home. Until I was 17 and participated in the academy, I had never flown by myself and never grouped with a bunch of people I didn't know. But opportunity breeds experience, so off I went. Besides learning about the workings of U.S. Jersey, what my main takeaway was that Jersey people are a tribe. And you always feel like you belong, even when you're by yourself. Let's be honest, money talks, and that's basically how I selected my university. A small student body, Christian-based, and an eager for female engineer students. Off I went. Unfortunately, no ag-based classes meant limited scholarship opportunities. But as good farmers know how to do, I learned to pivot. Sales from dairy projects made up the difference, and despite completely changing my major, I will graduate in 4.5 years. I actually loved doing math, but hated computer work that was expected more than hands-on. So despite my ambitions of fixing flaws that drive farmers crazy, I switched to business concentration with the aim to work for project management. Jersey youth programs really encouraged me to step out of my comfort zone. After spending a semester abroad in New Zealand studying sustainable agriculture, I realized how small and welcoming the Jersey community truly is. During spring break, I talked one of my flatmates into going to Australia, and while we were there, we stopped in Sydney for the Royal Easter Show. What I did not realize was the World Jersey Cattle Bureau meeting was happening at the same time, and Sydney was one of their stops. Imagine my surprise when I walk in and the first person I see is Kim. Believe me, I thought the lack of sleep must have been getting to me, because how could it be possible? Sure enough, ends up I travel halfway around the world to sit next to a Jersey enthusiast basically one state over. I was introduced to Allison Gibbs, which is the current World Jersey Bureau president, and she was gracious enough to respond to an email allowing me to tour my farm, and I was allowed to drag some of my non-cow friends along so they could understand what I'm so crazy about. Last fall, during fall break, I flew to London to visit my friends who were studying abroad, following my ever-winding path. I contacted Kim to see if she knew anyone in the Isle of Jersey. A true bucket list destination for me. I couldn't help myself. Kim made the introduction again, and off I went. To spend a day touring farms, the Rural Agriculture Society, sorry, I'm missing my spot, where there were every U.S. herd book and Jersey Journal. And I got to sit on a meeting for Dairy for Development. It was a true dream come true. Again, Jersey people love to talk about Jerseys, so I felt right at home. When you are like-minded, you are never strong. A time abroad really piqued my interest for international marketing. And I am currently studying international business, which is where I've been, hence why I traveled from Berlin to be here, but I'm so glad I did. For my degree, I have been in the middle of a 7-week international business program and will leave this afternoon to return to my group in France. I left here for Germany despite my body not really knowing what time zone I am, and I really would say that's not that bad for a kid who was afraid to travel to Jersey Youth Academy by herself despite not knowing anyone there. My journey thus far has been a curvy one, and I wouldn't have done it any other way. Cal's taught me to expect the unexpected. The same old is boring anyway. In closing, you have brains in your head, you have feet on your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction. Oh, the places you'll go. I would encourage any family members in the audience today to step out of your comfort zone and participate in youth programs that AGCA has offered. The Little Brown Cow can take you places that you could only dream of. You won't regret it, and it may spark a long life passion you didn't even know you had. Thank you.
Missouri native, Joe Vanderveldt, chair of our National Convention Committee, can have a few words.
As important as earlier as honoring our sponsors, there's a lot of work that goes into these conventions. And from the staff with Blake and Becky and Kim, and you know, it takes a lot of extra work. This year we had the opportunity to work with 3 great ladies here in the state of Missouri. I'm originally from Missouri, so a couple of years ago, I was excited. I only grew up 2 hours from here, so it's given me the opportunity this year to visit with, I'm the youngest of 8 kids, and get the opportunity to see family. So if you've missed me some, I've got to visit with a lot of family this week, and also take in the Jersey Convention. But the 3 ladies that really did a lot of the late work here, and we want to honor them if they're here. I believe we have a plaque for those ladies. First and foremost, Janice Rector. I would please come up, Janice. Spent a few nights in the hospitality room with Janice over the years, and she's been talking about this for a number of years, and she did an outstanding job, and we thank you for your contribution, Janice. Okay. The other 2 ladies, one would be Stacy Doley, who we'll be going to next. I'm sure she's not here. Another farm visit that we're going to have here at noontime. Stacy's been, I believe, a sidekick to Janice as well, and getting things together. Met with her yesterday at the School of the Ozarks. The last one of the 3 ladies I want to mention is Carla Deaver. I actually haven't ran into Carla, but I believe she'll be out at the Doleys here later on at noontime. And also on the board this year, we want to recognize Jason Johnson for helping assist with the help with the planning of these meetings, and certainly has been, we've had a lot of Zoom meetings and so forth, and he's been a big help with getting things together as well. So we thank all those people for all their contributions to the association. So.
Got it?
With that being said, 26 is going to be coming to a close here, the convention tonight with the Breeders' Banquet. But moving on to next year, we want to look forward to going to Asheville, North Carolina. We're going to go It'll be the week of June 16th through the 19th. We'll be at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Asheville. A lot of exciting things there to see. We're going to Piedmont Jerseys and Riverbend Creamery, and then as well as Biltmore Estates will be a big draw as well. So we look forward to being able to attend, and we certainly welcome you folks to North Carolina for 2027. So look forward to seeing you in Asheville. So thank you.
We're getting to the end here, getting a little long, but I do know we've got a couple important resolutions to bring before the meeting, so I'll ask Steve Hufford, could you please come forward?
Bringing my lunch. Okay, it's my honor to present a resolution from AJCA and National Law Jersey to C. Neil Smith. Whereas Neil Smith began his career with the Jersey Breed as a young man working Jersey marketing service roles and sales, bringing a pitchfork, work boots, and a lifelong passion for Jersey cattle into the circles of the American Jersey Cattle Club. And whereas in 1987, he joined the staff of the American Jersey Cattle Club as an area representative serving the southeastern United States, where he worked tirelessly to promote Jersey cattle and the programs of the association, while building lasting relationships with dairy producers and registered Jersey breeders. And whereas his talents for marketing, innovation, and service led to his appointment as manager of Jersey Marketing Service, where he expanded opportunities for breeders through progressive marketing strategies, strengthened cattle merchandising programs, and pioneered innovative sale formats that helped position Jersey Marketing Service as an industry leader. And whereas on May the 1st, 2000, Neil Smith was named Executive Secretary of the American Jersey Cattle Association and National Law Jersey, beginning a quarter century of leadership during one of the most dynamic periods in the history of the Jersey breed. And whereas under his leadership, the Jersey breed experienced remarkable growth in registrations, performance programs, cattle marketing, milk marketing, genetic advancement, and overall breed influence throughout the dairy industry. And whereas during his tenure, the Jersey cow achieved unprecedented milestones, including 13 consecutive years of more than 100,000 registrations, official production averages surpassing historic benchmarks, more than 100,000 cows annually appraised in the type appraisal program, and domestic and export Jersey semen sales exceeding 4 million units for the first time. And whereas Neil Smith successfully guided the association, its staff, and its membership through transformative industry developments, including the implementation of genomic technology, the evolution of dairy cattle evaluation systems, changing dairy economics, and the challenges presented by the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas his leadership extended well beyond the Jersey breed through service to numerous dairy industry organizations, including the Council on Dairy Cattle Breeding, where he served as a founding leader and chairman. The National Pedigree Livestock Council, the Purebred Dairy Cattle Association, and numerous industry committees and advisory groups. And whereas Neil Smith earned the respect of breeders, industry leaders, and colleagues alike through his dedication, loyalty, confidence, integrity, open-mindedness, and unwavering commitment to the best interests of the Jersey breed. And whereas his peers recognize him as a true leader who surrounded himself with talented individuals, elevated the performance of those around him, respected both staff and members, and demonstrated throughout his career that Jersey cattle were not simply his profession, but his passion and life's work. Now therefore, be it resolved that the members and boards of directors of the American Jersey Cattle Association and National Law Jersey hereby express their deepest gratitude and appreciation to Neil Smith for nearly 4 decades of distinguished service to the Jersey breed and for his 25 years of visionary leadership as Executive Secretary, and be it further resolved that these organizations recognize the lasting impact of Neil Smith's leadership on Jersey breeders, Jersey cattle, and the dairy industry, and extend to him their sincere congratulations and best wishes for health, happiness, and fulfillment in his retirement on December the 31st, 2026. And be it further resolved that this resolution be entered into the permanent records of the American Jersey Cattle Association and National Law Jersey as a tribute to Neil Smith's extraordinary career and enduring legacy of service to the Jersey breed. It didn't really launch. But I've been working as a board member or in some position since, I don't know when, but I know 1988, so I've worked with this guy and Vicky for a very long time. So the one thing I would like to say is I brought Neil to Virginia. He wanted to go to a NASCAR race.
Still remember that.
And you know, it's Bristol, baby. It's what you know anything about NASCAR. So he was an Earnhardt fan, so you know I had to be a Jeff Gordon fan, so we could have some. But well, Gordon won. I just wanted you to remind you of that. But the one thing I've noticed about Neil is he treats everybody with respect, and his staff, I think, having stay around as long as they do, I think they verify that fact. But since he's going to retire, and I've known him such a long time, and he might take up fishing, I can't catch you any fish, but this is, you put lunch in this, and while you're asleep on the riverbank, have a good time.
I'm not gonna let Neil say anything because we're late. I'm not gonna let you say anything because we're late.
I don't have any response to that.
I now let's call out Cal Draper.
This morning I was asked to read a resolution honoring Vicky J. White. I think it's very appropriate that in a couple weeks our nation will be celebrating its sesquiquentennial, and for those of you at home that means 250 years since the Declaration of Independence. I think it's very amazing that this piece of work was actually written by Thomas Jefferson. I thought someone would believe that. American Jersey Cattle Association, National All Jersey Inc., June 2026. A resolution honoring Vicki J. White. Whereas Vicki J. White began her career with the American Jersey Cattle Club in 1980, reporting to work the day after graduating from high school and beginning a remarkable career of service to the Jersey breed, spanning more than 46 years. I think we have a typo here, folks. I thought Vicki was somewhere between 35 and 39 years of age. The math doesn't work. Whereas her first responsibility included filing photographs for the Jersey Journal, and throughout her career, she would contribute to virtually every department within the organization, gaining a unique understanding of its operations, members, programs, and mission. And whereas, through dedication, hard work, and an unwavering commitment to excellence, Vicki advanced to leadership roles within the organization, ultimately serving as treasurer of the American Jersey Cattle Association and its related organizations when she became its trusted steward of their financial resources and long-term stability. And whereas, for more than 3 decades, she has guided the financial affairs of the American Jersey Cattle Association, National All Jersey Inc., and All Jersey Sales Corporation with exceptional skill, prudence, and integrity, helping position the organizations for continued success through sound budgeting, careful investment oversight, and responsible financial management. And whereas her responsibilities extend far beyond finance, as she faithfully served as human resources manager, office manager, coordinator, problem solver, trusted resource to staff, officers, directors, members, and Jersey breeders across the country. And whereas Vicki earned a reputation as a person who simply gets things done, approaching every obstacle with determination, practicality, and a willingness to find solutions rather than obstacles. And whereas she has provided leadership and oversight for countless organizational functions, including management of the Investment Advisory Committee, preparations of financial reports and budgets, coordination of annual meetings, administration of personnel matters, and participation in strategic decisions affecting programs, technology, facilities, and staffing. And whereas she coordinated the American Jersey Cattle Association and National All Jersey annual meetings, ensuring their success through meticulous planning with members and attention to detail. And whereas she has managed the National Jersey Jug Futurity from start to finish, overseeing one of the most prestigious competitions for Jersey 3-year-olds in the world, and preserving a cherished tradition within the Jersey breed. And whereas she has also contributed significantly to Jersey youth developments through her assistance with the Jersey Youth Academy and numerous other youth organizations that have helped shape future generations of Jersey breeders and leaders. And whereas colleagues, directors, members, and friends describe Vicki as professional, dependable, honest, hardworking, practical, detail-oriented, financially disciplined, sincere, warm, caring, and deeply dedicated to the Jersey breed and its breeders. And whereas her smile, steady presence, and unwavering commitment have become hallmarks of the American Jersey Cattle Association and National All Jersey Inc., earning her the respect, admiration, and gratitude of all who have had the privilege of working with her. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the members and boards of directors of the American Jersey Cattle Association and National All Jersey Inc. hereby express their sincere appreciation and gratitude to Vicki J. White for her extraordinary 46 years of service, leadership, and dedication to the Jersey Breed and its organizations, and be it further resolved that they recognize her countless contributions to the financial strength, operating excellence, and the long-term success of the American Jersey Cattle Association, National All Jersey Inc., and Jersey Marketing Service, and be it further resolved that they extend their heartfelt congratulations and best wishes to Vicki and her family as she enters retirement, with gratitude for her remarkable career and confidence that her legacy of service will continue to benefit the Jersey Breed for generations to come. Be it further resolved that this resolution be entered into the permanent records of the American Jersey Cattle Association and National All Jersey Incorporated as a lasting tribute to Vicki J. White and her exceptional service to the Jersey community. That's it.
We got a patches for, Vicki, after 40-some years. I've probably known you longer than that, and knowing how tight you are. Because, you know, if you spent $10 and you didn't have a receipt, you're in deep trouble. But just one little thing, I know you're going to buy yourself a pink Cadillac, but I got you.
Okay, we've run a little over. Is there any other business to come before the meeting today? If not, Jason, do you have any announcements for the rest of the day? We're good. Everybody's good. Right on schedule. Anyway, everybody's got that. All right, I'll call for a motion to adjourn. Second? We are adjourned. Thank you. Reorganizational meeting.
Right now.
Blake will lead us to the room that's where it is.